Hey everybody. All right, so here's the deal. Had a great lunch today with a friend, and he expressed to me some doubts in God, and not necessarily in God. He said he believed in God, but who God was. He was really frustrated, and it's something. He's a little older than me, but he'd been working it out his whole life. And he said, I don't know who God is. There's so much evidence to prove that God's here and that he created everything. This guy I was talking to had kids. He's like, so I believe that there's a God, but who is he? Is he Muhammad? Is he Buddha? He just didn't know. Is it Jesus? And so I talked to him for a while, and I was throwing him all the Christian lines, like, hey, here's the answer for that. Here's the answer for that. And he just wasn't receiving it. And there was like a block there. So finally, internally, I thought, man, maybe God put it on my mind. But I just thought, well, when did I come to know God? And I shared that with him a little bit. And I was like, I'm just going to call him friend because I don't want to embarrass him. But I just said, friend, when I was 12 years old, my biological father was horrifically abusive. 13 criminal convictions, 11 for child abuse and 2 for animal cruelty. The dude was a bad dude. I think demon possessed. And just zero remorse. He would just continue that. So anyway, I was telling my friend about this, and I was like, friend, the bottom line is that I didn't know who God was. I couldn't have defined him to you, but I knew that there was a God. There had to be, because I needed something bigger than my situation. And I prayed, and I just said, God, whoever you are, this is when I was 12, get us out of this home. Get my sister and my 2 brothers and I out of this place, away from this guy. Lenny is his name. Get us away from Lenny. And so 2 years later, we were out of that home. Long story short, there was some horrific abuse. The scar here on the side of my head, my biological father stomped on my head a bunch of times. I had a blood clot, a concussion, and amnesia. And so 2 years later, he was in jail, and we were going through a big, long trial. Let me switch my arms, getting tired. Whew. And so anyway, he went to jail, and I was just alone. My brothers and sister were split up into different foster homes. We were all spread around. And my foster mother one night left a Bible in the windowsill. And I went over and I picked it up, and I opened it up to Matthew chapter 24. And I remember as the pages came open, just like it was 2 years prior, I was instantly back in that bedroom. I was having a vision. And I remembered the smells of the old brown shag carpet. I remembered the creaks in the floor. I remembered everything. And it was really wild. But I also instantly remembered that prayer, God, get us out of here. Now, I didn't know who God was. The most I had was maybe heard of Jesus and heard of Buddha and Muhammad. But what I can tell you is that God is faithful to the prayer and to the person praying who says, God, I believe in you, but I don't know who you are. I need you to bring me clarity. I need you to answer that question for me of what is your identity and how do I worship you? And so, man, that night, the Holy Spirit confirmed in me. God met me. His Spirit, when I say Holy Spirit, the Spirit of God met me when I opened up that Bible. I had heard of Jesus before. I'd heard of these other religions, but nothing ever took. It was just all logical until that moment when I, with an open heart, was just ready to receive. And so I stood there, and the Holy Spirit met in my heart, and I read those words, and I knew that this Jesus was the real deal. I read every word I could find and read that night in the Bible. It changed my life. Not the fact that I read every word and read, but the fact that I became a Christ follower. I started following Jesus that night. I was like, man, when he talks, he's wise. He's has authority, but he's humble. He's graceful, and he's merciful, and he's loving. And all of these things that I hadn't had in my life to that point. All I knew was fear and doubt and insecurity and abuse. And man, here's this God that's offering a life that was so much better. And I took it. I was like, yes. So the long story short, if you're doubting like my friend was, just know that God's faithful to that prayer. You can ask him. You can tell him, God, I believe in you, but I don't know who you are. You're going to have to give me some clarity here and help me understand this. And believe it or not, he knows you're a human, and he knows that you're going to need some help. I don't think you can believe in God without his help, in fact. Anyway, I hope that helps you guys. Love you. Bye.